I don't mind a movie sequel demanded by fans made for fans. Two teens accidentally bring back the Sanderson sisters and must figure out how to stop the witches from wreaking havoc on Salem. This sequel does not stand up to the original 1993 film, but it's a fun continuation of the story that a lot of us grew up with. I love the costumes for the witches. They've always looked so rich. I love the details and I love the colors. Speaking of witches, I love the introduction of covens, and on top of that, I love the agency given to so many different characters. Of course, these are details that we could have assumed from the original, but to see it put plainly on screen in the sequel was so interesting and I just wanted more. Now, of course, the story is different from the original, but it does give us some similar story beats, but the movie is such a fun and distinct take that it is fresh. And now, while I will say that I understand the purpose of the Sanderson sisters' backstory, I didn't like the opening at all. Mainly because I really wish there was just more chemistry between the actresses and that we got stronger performances all across the board. Fortunately, the opening scene only lasted about 13 minutes. Before I go off about the original actresses returning as the Sanderson sisters, let's talk about the newcomers. The movie really starts to pick up with the two teens, Becca, played by Whitney Peak, and Izzy, played by Belissa Escobedo, and their estranged friend Cassie, played by Lilia Buckingham. Whitney and Belissa had amazing chemistry. I was genuinely surprised that I liked their characters as much as I did. Now, to the best part of the movie, our favorite witches. Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, Sarah Jessica Parker, they all reprised their roles almost 30 years later as Winifred, Mary, and Sarah respectively. The trio stole the entire movie, and it was such a treat to see them again as the Sanderson sisters. Their acting was outstanding and their chemistry is perfect. Very much like the original, if not better. Additionally, their comedic moments worked so well with the modern era and the modern teen. So I definitely was nearly in tears because I was laughing so hard. So I watched it so you don't have to, but was it worth the watch? If you are a fan of the original 1993 Hocus Pocus, you cannot miss this movie. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually pushed the movie off just a little bit because my concern was that the original actresses were gonna be pushed aside in favor of the newer cast. But I was surprised with how much screen time they had, and that really just elevated the movie for me. With 1 hour and 47 minutes, Hocus Pocus 2 built upon the lore of the original movie and strengthened the bond between Winifred, Mary, and Sarah in such a surprising way. Touching back on what I mentioned earlier, this movie gave a lot of characters the opportunity to grow and develop, which you guys was super impressive. Sure, the movie had some silly moments, but just before I was able to roll my eyes, I was surprised by what happened next. I will say that this movie leaned a little bit too heavily on that one singing iconic performance in the original film. Not only that, the original film is referenced in a weird way, but honestly, these moments are completely overshadowed by the performances of the original cast, including Doug Jones as Billy Butcherson. And that brings us to the end of the video where I watched it so you don't have to. Leave a thumbs up on the video if you liked the video so I know you liked the video. Go ahead and subscribe, and while you're down there, let me know. Have you seen Hocus Pocus 2 yet? What did you think about the movie? I might have shed a tear, you guys, but honestly, let's be real. I'm more worried about the direction of the franchise. Hocus Pocus 2 left the door open for a third installment or even a TV series. But my concern really is that if they continue on with the franchise, that the story will begin to stray very far from the original and even the sequel. Let me know your thoughts on this one down below. And until the next video, spread positivity, be safe, take care of yourself. And if you know someone who's heavily into magic and the occult, and they give you a candle telling you that they charged it with very powerful magic just for you, do not light it, or do light it. You never know what'll happen. Bye.